Hi, I'm Linda Deir and
I'm Ray Holly, Linda's partner, husband,
everything.
publisher,
Everything.
researcher.
Best friend. Okay, you guys, we are glad that you came to see us tonight on Facebook Live. We're going to be answering your questions tonight. What I mean by that is your spirit guide angels are going to come through and communicate to you. They're going to be speaking to you directly. Once you post your question into the stream so we can see it, we'll go ahead and ask your guides what they see for you right now, okay? But we're going to start with the theme we have tonight. For starters, I'm Linda Deir, the author of Guided. Her spirit guide angels were her best friends and life coaches. And this is my flagship book. You can get this on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook format. And I read the book myself. It's a true story, so I figured that'd be
And
right.
I'm going to post a link where they can listen to an audio sample of you reading the book.
There you go. Are you going to put it up right now?
I am.
Okay, so Ray's putting the link for the book up on the stream so you guys can go take a peek at it. And this is my guided journey. We're going to be talking about, let me get to the right page here. We're going to be on part 2, page 11, separation. So there's 18 pages in part 2. We're just about a little more than halfway through. And separation when it first took place when you were a young child, and separation in your life right now. Primarily separation from your guides. So we're going to be talking about this. This is the companion journal to my flagship book, Guided. In fact, Guided is what spurred my guided journey to happen because of all the requests I got from fans about how do they contact their guides. It started when you were young. So we go back to when you were young to rekindle that, all right? So be sure to get that on my website. Ray, did you put that
I did.
link up for what?
I put the link up so they can listen to an audio sample of Guided, and also the link where they can download the free journal.
So this is a free download on my website, my 4th book. So this is a gift to you, so be sure to get that, all right? And follow us on Thursdays with this, okay? So the topic the guides are going to talk about is when you felt the feeling of separation from your guides. This started about the time you were 7 to 10 years old. That's where this comes in, my guided journey. It takes you back on that journey so you can identify what that was and solve that missing link, that problem, that hiccup in your life, so it's no longer interfering with your life. This is when a quiet desperation took over. After the guides finish, you can start posting your questions regarding areas where you feel separation in your life. To do this, click on the video where it says click for more. And tonight, we're going to be using Ask the Universal channel for the guides to communicate their messages to you. Ray is the one they assigned to speak out their messages over this board. And Ask the Universal channel is a trademarked product of our parent company, Channeled Readings. Ray, could you go ahead and post the link for the story about
Sure.
Ask the Universal channel? And that'll let you guys see how this came about. It's actually the only thing my spirit guides and angels ever asked me to do. And it's the 30-year anniversary since that happened, since they first came through and asked me to create this, which I did, and it only took another 8 months before it was completely created and produced. So Ray's going to put the link to the story about how this all happened, so you can read about what happened after the session, after we're done today. Okay. Now, okay, what do we have, Ray?
It's up there.
Okay, thank you, Ray. Okay, now your spirit guides and angels are going to start this session with their opening message about separation in your life. It'll give you some parameters, some ideas about where you'd like to get some answers regarding your life right now, regarding this topic. So listen carefully, and here they go.
What are these feelings of separation? Separation is an emotional disconnection or detachment from someone or something. It can start at any time in your life, but your first feelings of separation probably showed up in your life around age 7 to 10, when you started to lose your connection to us. When separation shows up, it brings many different feelings. Sometimes there's anger or a feeling of guilt or fear that you are out on your own. You've lost your lifeline. It's important to look back and see where the feelings of separation started that you are experiencing now. They didn't just show up one day when you woke up. They can show up in many ways. You can feel isolated from everything and anything your spouse or a family member passes on. Your job, your children, a situation that occurs in your life. In just about every area of your life, you can lose the connection and feel separated and alone. These feelings of separation can be new feelings or residual ones that have carried over from your past. Talking about them and getting them off your chest, per se, helps. But writing down these feelings is the best way to begin to understand them. If you don't write them down and take a close look, they can linger. You can start feeling like there's something wrong with you. It can impact your self-esteem and get to the point where you doubt yourself and your decision making. The solution lies in the reinvention of yourself in these separate moments. Separate yourself from the causes and reconnect with us for the rest of your life.
Okay. So that's what they have to say about separation regarding our Facebook Live with you today. If you guys have questions, Ray.
Let's see here. Some people are having internet connection troubles. Brenda Firestone. I don't see any questions yet, but come on, jump in. Don't be shy.
Right.
Everybody's had feelings of separation throughout their life.
Oh, it's one of the biggest ones. One of the places where you feel the most separate is when you don't have love in your life. All right. When you have your guides in your life, you just feel calmer. You don't feel like this is the only world that you have, the one that appears to be the only one you have, but you remember the one you came from. You're still connected to your guides and to yourself. So you don't feel that. You feel connected and you feel supported. All right. You never feel lost. So that's what not feeling, when you don't feel separation, you don't feel disconnected. That's what it feels like. That's the natural, normal way, the healthy way you came in. The world you're in is certainly convinced that it's separate from the world you came from. They don't even mostly acknowledge the world that you came from. Like, if you acknowledge it, you might be kind of weird, okay, from this perspective. But in reality, this is where we come from. And once we're done here, that's where we go back to. So this is just a little experience in between, sandwiched in between our eternal self, all right?
We do have a question from Joy Woodward. My husband just died, and I have felt separated and alone.
Okay, that was a great question. See, these questions don't have to be complicated. I'm going to get something to drink. And Joy, that's her name, right?
Joy Woodward.
Your spirit guides and angels are here with us now, and they're going to tell you what they see as the most important thing for you to know in your life right now regarding separation, okay? And here they go.
Joy, when the feelings of separation come on strong, and suddenly it can almost feel like abandonment, that everything you did together will be different, trying to do it on your own. It's natural to feel isolated and alone when you lose a loved one, especially if you've been together a long time. However, you will find that being alone will allow you to clearly think through your next actions that you take to heal. Now, we aren't talking about feeling lonely. Lonely is very different. Lonely is when you feel nobody cares. And this is not the case.
Okay. If she has said anything about this, right? Well, we've been bringing the information through. This is how your guides see your situation right now. My feeling as this was coming through also, Joy, is your husband, how long were they together, does it say?
Doesn't say.
Okay. Your husband has crossed over, and you can't just go out and expect to recreate your life to mimic what it was like while he was still here, okay? Now your life has started over again. Whether that's something that sounds appealing to you or not, it actually should sound really appealing because you're still here. You still have something to do. And I'm assuming she had
25 years.
25 years, okay. You still have something to do and that's why you're still here. So your situation, your life, whatever it is that before you got here, you came in to do, okay, another thing you came here to do. You haven't done it yet. You haven't finished whatever that is. So do you want to know what that is? Do you want to know what that part of your life, the one you haven't lived yet, looks like? If you do, you let us know, and then your guides will come through and they'll answer that. They'll talk to you about that, okay? So do we have anything else there, Ray?
Yeah, here's one.
Okay.
Brenda, when you're in fear about lack of financial abundance, is that separation?
Yes. So,
Right.
so that's a fair question.
That is a good question.
Okay, so let's read the question slower.
When you're in fear about lack of financial abundance, is that separation?
It is. And we're going to have your guides tell you what's the most important thing for you to know right now in your life. And it's going to tie into the separation. So let's let your guides tell you what they see, because that's really the most important thing for you to know. All right, and here they go.
Brenda, it's your fear of lack that makes the situation seem more painful. We can see that everything is going to be fine. Everything works itself out with or without worry, fear, and troubled decision making about the future. Once you get past your fear of lack and focus on what you do have that's valuable, you will see abundance in a different light.
Okay, I'm going to grab something here for you, Brenda. Be sure to get my guided journey off my website. Again, it's a free download on the homepage, lindadeir.com, and Ray posted it in the early part of this session for you guys to get this. You'll see the book on the inside the stream. And go to part 3. There's 3 parts to this. Go to part 3. It's the journaling part. Okay, part 2. We're working on page 11 of part 2 today, separation, which is taking the journey. All right. But I want you to go to part 3, and I want you to start writing in to part 3 what they just suggested you do. Start keeping track of what's coming through, all right? And date it and keep it in chronological order. This is all set up to put in your little binder, little hole punches right here, to put right in your binder. It's very nice, very nice. So it's set up to use and continue to use, and with your little binder, you can keep adding pages, all right? So I'm asking you to go to the last part of this and start journaling and dating what you're getting And you will be surprised. Before too long, you're going to see what's coming through. Not coming from you, but coming through you from guidance, okay? From something that knows something that you don't. From somebody that sees things clearer than you can. Because when we're wrapped up in this world with all the emotions and all of the demands and the pressure of this world, you can't think straight. You can't make a good decision. You can't. You've got to get yourself back. You've got to get connected again to where it was you came from. It's the most natural thing to do. So that's my advice. And stay tuned into us on Thursdays, and we'll walk you through this. Your guides will continue to speak with you and work you through it, all right?
So Brenda has printed out the book.
Okay, great.
And she's going to go to part 3 tonight and take a look at it.
Good. And just stay tuned into us on Thursdays, same place, same time right here, and we'll help you through that. Your guides will help you through it. They're going to see you working on this, and they're behind you on it, all right? They're always with you.
Okay, let's get back to Joy.
Okay.
She was married 25 years, okay? She's 58 years old now.
Okay.
And she wants to know what her current situation is supposed to be. Remember how you said?
In other words, what are the opportunities that
Right.
have opened up to you that you haven't noticed, all right? That's normal, by the way. Once you get used to working with your guides and you get used to getting these insights, just like I spoke with Brenda, and writing them into your journal so you don't miss these little pieces, these nuggets that you get, insights, intuition, gut feelings, knowingness, dreams. I mean, it's coming all the time, you guys. But your guides are going to answer that question and say the question one more time, right?
Okay, she lost her husband. Her husband recently died. They were married 25 years. And
what was the last part of her
she's
question?
58 years old now.
And she wants to, she wants to know what guidance is directing her to move into
Right.
at this point in time, since she's still here. All right. So here they go, Joy.
You are still young. You have to think young. You are not at the end, only at the conclusion of part of your life. Going forward, you should not feel sad for yourself. Your husband wouldn't want you to feel like that. You must take a look at things you love to do and start doing them by yourself or with others. It's important now to have some true friends and new connections to occupy your life. It's not a time to judge yourself harshly.
Okay, so what is it that this is walking her into? Where are you, her guides, directing her to go, guiding her to go, so she doesn't miss it? And here they go.
Get out of the house and become active in things you have put off for years.
So is this more about Joy's time and Joy enjoying her time?
yes, it's not the time to hurt yourself more.
Okay. Okay, so this isn't about you going out in the world and doing some really big projects or anything like that. It is for some people. It's not for you. For you, this is about learning to enjoy your time. It's about learning joy, okay? Living up to that name you have and enjoying your life, Joy. That's, your name says it all the time. People, hi, Joy. Hi, Joy. How are you doing, Joy? They're telling you to enjoy this, to indulge in the joy, okay? So although that might feel to you a little selfish or something, it's not. When you do something that brings you joy, it brings other people joy, that's not selfish. That's giving. That's sharing, okay, the joy. So that's what you need to learn to do. You need to learn to enjoy your life, and maybe enjoy your life for the first time in a long time because you've been hard on yourself. That's what I get from your guides. All right?
Yeah, and if you have trouble kind of getting started that direction, you know, like, oh, I can't do something for myself. Do something for somebody else.
You know, that's
volunteer.
That's a great start. That's a great start. If you like animals, there's a lot of places to start doing that. If you like kids, there's a lot of places to start doing that. And just show up. Just show up and be there, and just let yourself start to find that joy in yourself and enjoy it more often every day. And pretty soon, whatever loss you felt, it won't be gone. Your husband hasn't gone anywhere, by the way. Just so you know, all he did when he crossed over is he got out of one car and got in another, all right? But the energy is not limited to one place like it feels like it is here on the planet. When we're released from our body, we're now everywhere. There's no place we can't be in an instant. So, your husband's fine. Okay, what do we have, Rick?
She's going to be fine.
Yeah.
We have another Joy, Olivia Joy.
All right, Olivia.
We have a lot of joy here tonight in the group. Let's see, let's move along here fast. What about low self-esteem from living a life separated from your true nature?
Okay, let's read that again, Ray.
What about
low self-esteem?
Low self-esteem as a result of living a life separated from your true nature.
Yeah, well, that would happen. You would have a lower self-esteem if you're separated from your true nature. You would feel kind of lost. You definitely feel separation. You would know something was missing. That's what separation means. It's when something feels like it's missing. Like in Joy's earlier Joy with her husband, he crossed over, so she feels like something's missing. Well, he crossed over. Absolutely, something that used to be there is no longer there. But when it feels like it's missing, that's a deep feeling from within. All right. So, okay, great. Whenever you ready to go on this?
I am.
Okay, so again,
We have some more questions.
okay about the separation with Joy.
Right.
Okay.
She said she will. She's going to get involved.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh, good, Joy.
And Olivia Joy.
And join us again here on Thursdays, Joy, so that we can keep in touch with you and your
Right.
guides can let you know how you're doing. All right. Go ahead, Ray.
And then Olivia Joy.
Yeah.
Was the self-esteem question. Living a life separated from your true nature.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it's just if you can't let your true nature come out, it's like
Choking you up.
it's
Cutting
like a
off your
horse,
ear.
like a horse at the gate.
Right.
You can't. That the gates aren't going to open. You're waiting for them to open. You're waiting for them to open.
Frustration.
It is frustration.
Yeah.
It's a lot of frustration.
Let's let the guides tell her what they see for you on that one. Okay.
Frustration is a form of separation, not being able to perform at your best or follow your heart in what you know you need to do can be very debilitating mentally and could wear you out eventually, physically. It's time to allow yourself the privilege of letting your true self shine through, regardless of anybody else's opinion or worrying about what people would say or think. It's time to let the genie out of the bottle.
I love that. Let the genie out of the bottle. I love that. I love that visualization there, okay? You got that one. I know you do, Olivia.
Brenda.
Yep.
This is a good question.
Yeah.
Brenda Tony Feinstein. Were my guides guiding me when I packed up all my husband's things and moved him out? I felt like it was being done by by a guiding force, as I was too weak to do it on my own. Was this a guided decision to end my marriage to Bob? 12-year marriage ended.
It felt that strong.
Yeah.
That's great, Brenda. You're not, wow. I love it. You know, there's nothing, I just personally have to say this to you. When any of you feel that strong, it's a push. And that's exactly how she described it. Sometimes it feels like an urge, all right? Or a pull, okay? But when you feel that, that's guidance tenfold. It's like, don't ever doubt yourself. So let's see what your guides have to tell you about that moment in time, because only they would know how to answer that since they were with you, and here they go.
Sometimes guidance is not intended to feel good. It can be like something you know that should be done, but you don't have the courage to do it and need some extra encouragement. When you get an intuitive hit or feel us talking to you and you feel uncomfortable about it, that's when you know it's guidance.
What they mean by that is that's when you know what's coming through is not coming from you.
Right.
Okay? You didn't, it's not even something you thought about or something you even would have wanted to know about maybe, because it doesn't mean you didn't need to know about it though, all right? Especially when it's something you didn't want to hear. That's when you really know it's guidance, okay? So if you just get guidance, let's say you work on this and you get My Guided Journey and you work on the journey in part 2 and you start journaling your intuition, your dreams, you know, your insights, your gut feelings and all that in part 3. And by the way, this is laid out really well. You guys are gonna like the format here. And you date it and you keep everything in chronological order. You're not gonna miss what's coming through. You're gonna see the things that are gonna be things you have to deal with that maybe you didn't think you'd have to or you didn't anticipate. But then again, that's why guidance is with you. They show you things that you, on your own, never would have found. So who better can see this than those who walk with you every step of the way through your life than your guides, you know?
Getting back to the journal.
Yeah.
And writing down things that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that when I went through it. We've had a lot of people tell us that they couldn't get past the first page. First page is what was the first fear in your life as a baby.
Right. That's very hard for a lot of people, or they can't remember what it was.
Most people can't remember before the age of 3 or 4. They have trouble remembering what happened.
I actually have a little trouble understanding that. Ray understands that better, which makes us a pretty good team. Because in my book, Guided, I remembered what happened in my life before age 20 months old. Before I was 20 months old. Because my life was on the line. And that's when my guides showed up when I was 20 months old. And I actually took this photograph, this is the front of my book, in 1994. And a couple weeks later, they came to me in a dream. There's the guidance in the dream, right? And I was lucid in the dream, and I said, why did you let me take your photograph this time? I've seen you since I was a baby, but why did you let me take your photograph this time? It was Christmas time, 1994. I happened to have a camera in my hand, and I turned around, and there it was, and I snapped off the picture, and no one in the room saw it but me, that kind of thing. And they said, you're going to write a book about your relationship with us since you were a little girl. And we appeared so the world could believe. And I wrote the book 20 years later. So this is how I know about it. Ray's relationship to it, I've always known about this guidance, but your relationship to it, in terms of working through my guided journey, I was able to, from the beginning, go right through it and see the fear in on page 1, and how I asked for help and received it, and they even showed up right in my presence the first time they appeared to me physically when I was 20 months old, when I first asked for help. And that's page 2 of part 2. And then page 3 is friends, and they became my best friends, right? So I know how to walk you guys back through this, but I will tell you this in part 2, page 1 through 18. Ray couldn't connect with the journey part in part 2 until he hit page 14.
Right.
And that's when he met up with one of his most interesting successes in his life when he was 12 years old. And it just was a great time for him to start remembering and writing in the journal, right? In the journey part in part 2. So he went from page 14 to 18, easy for him to do, great time of his life. And where it got more complex and more, convoluted, and he couldn't connect the dots, it was a mass confusion time of his life. What started from page 1 to 13. So then he went back to 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, all the way back to 1. And magically, he remembered the first thing on that first page that held him up. In fact, is still one of those things he's got to watch to this day. But now he's aware of it. Now he can't be pushed around because he's not aware of it. Now he knows it, all right? So, and he raises the bar in his life. His life works like it never worked before.
Right. I never had a logical way to lay it out like this.
Right.
Before that.
Right. And I only know, I could only write this because of my experience in living through all this and remembering all that happened with my guides by my side from the time I was a baby. All right. So that's the only reason I was even able to write that.
I mean, even before you ran away from home at 20 months old, going back to your first memory in chapter 1, you don't run away from home all the way to chapter 2. That's when you...
Yeah, and I'm 20 months old.
20 months old, ripe old age.
I'm growing up.
Yeah, you're growing. But you had a dream. That was your first memory that you can remember.
Right, and that was my life destiny dream that showed me my destiny in this lifetime and what was going to be going on with the people in this lifetime. Okay, all these people that we're part of, we're on. It's the merry-go-round dream. We're on the merry-go-round. We're in this on this karmic ride, all together, and we really are. And we just have to realize that we're not in this alone, you guys. We really are in this together. And be kind, Oh my God.
It's important to tell them a little bit about the dream and the symbolism in the dream, because it's the way the world is now.
Yeah, I don't know how to shortcut it. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, you're on the merry-go-round, and you're having the time of your life.
With everybody I know in the whole wide world.
Right, all the people you've met at...
Well, up to that point.
Yeah.
As, you know, in my whole wide world.
Right.
At that young age.
Right. And you're having the time of your life. It's
Life
fun.
is good. Yeah.
Everything's good. You're going round and round and round, and everybody's having fun on the ride.
Right.
Until, what happens?
It starts to speed up. Okay, so what's going on the planet right now? It's speeding up, right? Things are going faster. Technologies move things along quicker. I mean, how do you keep up with it all? What's happened to our currency? It's turning into cryptocurrency. I mean, what happened here? All right. So everything starts to speed up like the world we're in right now. And it's getting to that point, that life, destiny, dream, and guided, where what they showed me is happening right now. I'm not going to tell the story, get the book, but it is it's available on Amazon. Ray put it up on the website. But that's the basis for the project. It explains to you how come I do what I do, how I know what I know, and what makes me qualified to write a book like My Guided Journey. Not to mention guided. You know, this is a true story of my life right here, guided, and it starts out very harrowing in a life where I really had to figure it out on my own, and I wasn't on my own. I had my guides by my side, and honestly, you guys, without them, I wouldn't have made it. So I don't know how anybody in this world, okay, manages without having this connection to their guides and to themselves, all right, to their real self. And that's what My Guided Journey walks you back through and helps you identify and restore your life, okay? Yeah. Go ahead, Ray. What
Okay.
else?
Teresa. Teresa has...
Okay.
She has a coaching session with us on Monday. She has a little compound question here, so...
All right.
And she's going to save part of it for her session.
Okay.
In the past 6 months, she's had a full plate here. Past 6 months, her mom passed away, and then her son's father, and then a 7-year relationship ended.
Wow.
Boom, boom, boom.
In 6 months? In the last 6 months?
In the last 6 months, boom, boom, boom. It's like a 1, 2, 3 punch. Her mom died, her son's father, and then a 7-year relationship ended. Now she feels a bit overwhelmed and overbooked. She's trying to make career decisions while she's in this situation, okay?
Wow.
While also factoring in enjoyment and playtime, while also being now a single mom 24/7 and wanting to do the guided workbook.
Right.
She's impatient. I would kind of like to just stop and feel like I can't or I shouldn't. I have a session with us on Monday, coaching session on Monday with us about a specific career decision. But in the meantime, she's wondering if her guides might have anything to share about being overwhelmed.
Wow. Okay, that's really a good question. You formed it really well, and I like how you split it out, okay?
Right.
So they're going to come through and answer your question, and here they go.
Another way to look at overwhelmed is overextended in your life. Trying to juggle too many things at once can be overwhelming. Having the occurrences and events in your life you had in a short period of time also doesn't give you enough time in between to catch your breath. One thing you should do to help with clarity and the feeling of being overwhelmed is get out into nature and take a walk. Once you are out and alone, just breathe. Work on listening and focusing on your breath. It's very difficult for us to reach you when you are going so many directions at once and feeling overwhelmed. Once you calm yourself down, you will hear the whispers.
Okay, I'm going to say this to you. What's happening is it's been like a great big wind whirl that came through your life and just blew it all apart, all right? And you're thinking you should be moving just as fast as all that moved. Mm-hmm. You need to stay up with it. You need to keep moving faster to stay ahead of this thing, okay? And what the guides are telling you is you need to do the opposite. You need to breathe. I mean, learn to breathe. Breathe. If you have to jog so you get your breath going, do what you have to do, but get your breath going, all right? And that'll clear up your head. And that'll get you out of this race that you're in. You don't even know why you're in it. So many things hit you at one time. You're still reeling from it, okay? So until you can slow yourself down and breathe, and running will help you breathe. You're not going faster because you're running. You're running so you can start breathing, and you can start feeding oxygen back into your life, the life force, all right? And when you do that, and you then calm down. Calming down is a byproduct of breathing, all right? You don't calm down. How do you do that? You don't just calm down. You have to do something that will cause you to calm down, okay? So that's what I suggest, or something like it. You could ride your bike. You could bounce on a trampoline, a rebounder. You could get on a bike in a gym and go, but do something to get your heart rate up, to get your breath going, to get out of your head. And that will, even though it feels like you're going faster, it's calming you down. It's slowing you down energetically. Now, when you become calm, you become aligned with your guides. And then the connection is back in order, and they can reach you. That's how it really works. That's what they really mean by what they said to you, all right? That's what you need to do right now, and forget all the decisions you think you have to make. You need to get your clear thinking cap back on. And that's what you need to do to achieve it. It won't take you long at all. And then once you have this new discipline in play, whatever it happens to be, however you put that together, you just keep doing that, and that'll keep you clear and connected. And there you go.
All three of those losses happened within 10 weeks of each other. It was like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That's a lot of overwhelm.
This is Brenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brenda?
And that's Teresa.
Oh, Teresa. Okay, Teresa. Something about you that, these things just don't happen, but there was something along the way, long before these all played out, that showed you little signs and clues and signals and gut feelings and dreams and intuition. Something along the way kept giving you a little heads up, kind of like a whisper, letting you know that, something's coming. And it wasn't a surprise. I just want you to know that if you think back, you're going to remember little, oh, I remember that. I remember that phone call that was so peculiar. Okay. I remember getting that thought, and I thought it was ridiculous. But now I see it. I see how I was getting guidance and little signs along the way, preparing me for this tsunami that showed up, So nothing just shows up. Again, once you go back and you go through the journey, you take the journey in part 2, and you identify the things that happened in your life that this triggers, these things I'm talking about will no longer be things that catch you off guard. Your awareness will be heightened. You'll be back to yourself. You won't just be frightened and living in this world, getting slammed around and blown around and thrown around. You will have an anchor. What did they call it earlier? A lifeline.
A lifeline.
All right? And there is nothing like that. Once you're connected, you guys, once you're connected, there's no way you'll let go of that. But it's about figuring out what your formula is in making that connection. And that's where this comes in and takes you there. I will say this. If you haven't read Guided yet, listened to Guided, because I did it in audiobook format as well, this will be harder to understand. So do get the book and listen to this or read it. And it'll get you in the right mindset. So when you do your journey, you take your journey and you do the journaling in part 3, you guys will be stellar students, all right?
And although Guided, like you said, starts out pretty harrowing,
Yeah.
which means acutely disturbing, right?
Yeah.
Part 4 is totally different. It's a 400-page book, and in part 4, what happens?
I meet Ray.
And she lives happily ever after. So it does have a happy ending, doesn't it?
Isn't he?
Okay, let's see. Teresa agrees. Teresa, we're looking forward to Monday with
Yep.
you. Joy, love your books. I have both on Kindle, paperback, and Audible.
Okay, I'm going to say
Both, okay.
I'm going to say one
There's
thing.
a third one.
Yeah, I'm going to say one thing to all of you, please. If you've read Guided or listened to Guided, or any of my other books, and you have not left a review, please do that. And I say, I didn't say leave a review for me, did I? No. My guides told me, and this is an interesting little fun story. When I was done writing Guided, they said, the name, by the way, I didn't have a name for the book. They wake me up, I'm done writing the book, and they wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, dream time. And they tell me, the name of the book is Guided. And I wake Ray up and I go, Ray, the name of the book, they just gave me the name of the book. And he goes, what is it? And I said, Guided. And he goes, duh, Linda.
He rolled over and went right back to sleep.
So, it's a fun little story about it.
So after you wrote Guided, you didn't jump right to the companion journal.
No.
How many of you have seen these? These are the second and third books, and they're called How to Live a Guided Life. It's a little series, How to Live a Guided Life, and the red one is called First Steps, and the blue one is called Meeting the Real You. And if you like the Tuesdays weekly guided insights, these are a whole book. There are about 100 pages in each book, and it's channeled information from the guides.
Real short little reads.
Like 2 or 3 paragraphs,
Yeah.
and then a paragraph from Linda about how it works in your life.
And what these little books do, you guys, after I wrote Guided, people wanted more. They didn't want the story to end, right? Well, the story was the story. There was nothing, we're still living this.
How much happier could you be after I showed up?
Not much, right?
You see?
So anyway, what happened is they were reaching for more, and when I wrote these little books, these were reminders. Now, people were getting that feel for what this is like to make the connection to their own guides after reading Guided. A real life story about how it works. These little books trigger you. It reminds you. It keeps you aware. It keeps your awareness up. So this connection that you're working to reconnect with your guides, because you've always had it. You just didn't act on it. You didn't believe it. You doubted yourself. You doubted them. All right? It keeps you from going into that. It keeps you alive. That's what I'd like to
And they're
say.
not just random thoughts. They're not just random ramblings of the guides. They're very organized, and it comes in different chapters. And in each chapter, there's about 3 or 4 of their guidance with Linda's commentary. In chapter 1, here's some of the topics they cover. Understanding yourself comes first.
Right.
Limitations and how to unlearn them.
How to unlearn them.
Emotions you can trust. Expansion into the real you. Listening and hearing your guides. Acceptance happens when the blame stops. Awareness will end the struggle, and fears appear when you forget who you are.
So fear can only rise up and negatively impact your life when you forget who you are. When you get caught up in this world and think that this is all there is, as it continues to push you around. That's when fear took over and you can't think straight anymore. So whatever it is where you know that you're disconnecting, you're misfiring, you're not, you're not at your best. What you really have to do is go into that breathing, like I talked with Brenda about. Do whatever it takes to start that breathing back up again, because that's your true life force. And it's from that you will calm down and realign with your guides. Okay?
I'm going to put the link up for your weekly guided insights here.
Oh, good, Ray. Be sure to sign up for those. They come out on Tuesdays, and it's a gift from the guides, and it lines up with how they help you navigate the uncertain world that you're now living in, so that you don't feel like you're losing it, like you're losing your mind. What is going on here? They explain things to you that keep you clear about what's going on. Okay.
And I posted a link to Angel Coaching with Linda.
There you go. Check that out. And that's
some of you have had sessions. Some of you have had sessions out there.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to have your own private session with me. And so as I mentioned earlier, if you guys would leave a review for Guided, if you've listened to Guided, or the little books, okay, that would be appreciated. It helps other people find the books.
Right, helps them heal.
Yep.
Okay, comment from Olivia Joy. Could she ask something on the subject of being woken up during the night?
Yeah.
I'm awake every night around 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. And I can never sleep at this time. Is it my guides? Oh, and Linda, I'd love it if you wrote another book in your spare time.
And you know what? I only write books that matter. I don't just write books to write them. I've had a lot of people tell me, oh, you need to write more books. Write more books. Write at least 10 books a year. Well, that's a machine. You guys don't want machine type writing. And so I only write them when I'm inspired to write them, when I'm guided to write them. And so I'm not holding out on you or anything, but come to these on Thursdays. Get my insights. Get a coaching session, whoever, you guys, and come to my Facebook, page, and I put things up all the time about what's going on, and and learn how to do this for yourself. We teach you guys how to do this for yourself, to make this connection to your guides, and we do it on different levels. So definitely go to the website and check it all out. I will write more books though, Olivia. I'm sure they have something in mind for me. Now, so what do we have there, Ray?
That's it.
The 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock in the morning. She keeps waking up around 2 and 3, and she can never sleep at this time.
Okay, let's let the guides tell her why this is happening. Is this something that you're doing to wake her up? And here they go.
No. You are worrying too much before you go to sleep.
Oh, now that gets right to the point. See? Boom. There it is. In fact, if you're worrying too much, one thing that they talk about, and I don't know if it's the little books or on our insights, they bring so much information through for all of you, but they call worrying self-abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's easy to say, well, love yourself and stop worrying. I mean, I can't stand it when somebody says that to me.
And do your mirror work.
Well, whatever, Ray. It's just ridiculous. If you're having a problem, you're already in it, right?
Right.
So, so this thing with worrying, if you were to get up and do something that makes yourself breathe, you need to give yourself a break. You need to break the monotony of waking up 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, if you don't worry anymore, I'm not saying you don't have something to worry about, okay? I'm not saying there's things in your life that you don't want, that you need to get worked out. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist, because I believe you when you worry that something's there that needs attention, that needs to be worked out. However, spending that hour between 2 and 3 in the morning worrying is not fixing it. So recognize that it's self-abuse. It keeps repeating itself because it's not getting fixed. And take that hour to write down in part 3, in the journaling part, what you are worrying about, instead of spending one more night worrying without identifying what that is. Okay, write it in there. And then once you have that written down, if you can't break through it, if you can't see what it is, if you can't see through it, come back on Thursday. Let's look at that. Let's have your guides look at that. Okay? But write it down.
That's a good idea. That'd be a good time. If you're up every night from 2 to 3 and you can't go to sleep, I'd make myself a cup of herbal tea and start writing down in my journal.
It might, yeah. And it might be that what you've been wanting to get this out. You have been overwhelmed by everyone in your life. You don't have any peaceful time. So it's like you're waking up, but you're not utilizing it yet. This is the missing piece. And I'm telling you, Olivia, once you start using this and start writing in it, and keep it to yourself and date it, you're going to a lot of things are going to clear up for you. A lot of things. You're going to feel brilliant because you are.
Okay, so next week, same place, same time?
Next week, same place, same time.
Yep.
Next week, we're going to be talking about, we're moving from separation to compromise.
Yeah.
Compromise. So right after separation, you feel this separation in your life between age 7 or 10. You get through that time in your life, and I don't mean that you understand it. I mean that you carry this feeling of separation along with you. And on top of that pile of confusion that's stacked up for the last 11 pages in part 2, you come to page 12 and you add one more complication or confusion on top of the pile called compromise. And compromise happens after separation. You can imagine this. Now, you felt separated. You knew something was missing. You felt a deep loneliness from this separation at that time in your life, only to move into compromise. So what did you do? The first time in your life you felt something was missing, that you weren't good enough. This is when your struggle began. And so your life became hard. Compromise became normal. You started yielding to what was going on in this world. You started doing whatever it took to fit in, to get a good grade, to get an award, to whatever it was. It's called selling out, all right? I really don't know how else to say it. I'm not going to nice any of this up, because this is what got people in trouble. This is what caused people, these are the early decisions and reactions that children make that compound and build the life that they have by the time they're in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and, throughout their life. And then they wonder, wait, something's missing. I'm smarter than this. What's wrong with my life? What's going on here? I'm confused. I'm getting angry now. I'm not putting up with this anymore. What's wrong in my life? Well, you're not going to know until you go back through this, I'm telling you. But you will find it. And the more that you feel irritated by these things that don't work out, your decisions, you can't make a decision, or the decisions you make are less than stellar, all right? You're just there. You know you could do better. That's basically it. that's where this comes in. So next week we're going to talk about compromise, where you caved in, okay, and you knew you did, but you didn't know what else to do, and you were tired, and you were hurt, and you were lonely, and
you were separated.
You were separated, right? Just before that separation, you were getting more and more invested in just this world, and pushed this farther away. No wonder you felt like that, okay? Makes sense to me. So that's what we're going to talk about next week, so don't miss it. And wherever you have felt compromise in your life, or where, no matter where you are, like right now in your life, where are you compromising? And you know you're doing it, but you can't stop it. Why can't I stop it? Okay, this is where your guides are going to come through and help you with that. Because nobody knows you better than your spirit guides and angels, all right?
I think it's fascinating that compromise comes right after separation, because we had a lot of questions tonight about people feeling separated.
Yeah.
You know, something happens in your life and you're no longer with a partner, or you have a relationship that broke up, or you lost your job, whatever. So now you feel separated. So now you're thinking, will I ever have another good job? Will I ever have another good relationship? And what
You start doubting yourself.
Well, and then what you start doing is you start compromising so you can have one.
Okay, that's called lowering your standards.
That always works, doesn't it?
It works every time.
Every
right?
time.
If you want,
If you want,
we know a guy. He's trying to have a relationship.
Yeah.
All right. He's trying to get it. He's been alone for a while, and he's really lonely. And he's trying to find a way to do this. And we were just kind of laughing, going, you know, we have the answer for you. This is kind of like a joke, but it's not. He's real particular, and he's very, he judges everybody so much. It's like, how could you ever have a relationship when you're so filled with all these expectations? You don't have enough room in there just to let somebody be who they are, And if you don't like who they are, it will never work anyway, So we say, well, to fix this is just lower your standards.
it works every time.
And he goes, well, that's what got me in trouble in the first place. And we just go, precisely. That's exactly the right answer, So anyway, sometimes we do that. I don't know. Have you ever lowered your standards, Ray?
Not that I want to talk about.
He's great. I like him because he doesn't lie.
I was probably under the influence of something when I lowered my standards.
Anyway, you guys, we're so happy to have you, and we are going to be back next week, and the guides are going to be back next week, ready to answer your concerns
About
compromise.
compromise. We'll see you then.
See you then.